Welcome, folks, to the IPC YouTube channel. If you've been here before, you know what's happening. Get your creature cushion, start chillaxing, and we're going to get funkified like Raw, the Funky Eye Puppets always says. Just be funkified and funky free, be who you be. And that you showed up today, that's part of the formula for, expanding and becoming funkified. So today I'm showing you a birthday card, the way IPC loves to make birthday cards, and this was for a friend of mine, and I don't know if it even exists anymore because it kind of got thrown around and tossed around, but this is definitely what I did. And I love switching mediums, and I'm using these Pilot oil-based fine liners, and I did a rough pencil sketch, and it's a kind of like an undiscovered creature, which is a part of my whole story, MATSU and the Funky Eye Puppets. And then I think it has an unknown Kappa Yokai, and I love drawing Kappa Yokai, which are water goblins, and I love redefining them too for this age. They're not all evil and all demons and monsters. They're creatures, especially because IPC paints them as creatures. But let's get on with the quote today, and I'm going to explore poetry. Famous quotes about poetry, and this one is from the astute guy, one of America's most favorite poets, Mr. Robert Frost. And Robert Frost says, "A poem begins as a lump in the throat, a sense of wrong, a homesickness, a lovesickness." And yes, the tradition I work in is called magical realism. I learned that from my mentors in Taos, New Mexico, in the days of the Taos Poetry Circus, where I spent my summers and really learned about the oral tradition and the telling of the poet and the sound that we make as human beings and shape it and move this verse around and rearrange all these fantastical symbols. And this Robert Frost quote makes me think about, how I really understand a poem. And I was mentored in Taos, New Mexico by Ann McNaughton and the powerful Peter Rabbit, who's RIP, and my old good friend Mr. Mexican Bob. And then they brought in all kinds of amazing poets, that influenced the beats and were beats and just didn't become famous. And that's where I crossed paths with the incredible Nanao Sakaki, which changed my life forever. And I would consider him one of my top mentors. And what I gleaned from them is they kind of taught in the hard knocks school of poetry, so they don't really tell you what's going on. And you basically have hit a pinnacle when they don't have any more comments about what you're doing. And I started to learn that the power of really powerful poetry is not what you're saying. It's what you're invoking in people. So yeah, I truly believe it does start metaphoric as a lump in your throat, an irritation, a sense of something being wrong, homesickness of not naturally, the physical home, but more the home that makes you feel right at home, right? And then a lovesickness, definitely feeling the removal of love or the yearning for it and not having it directly fulfilled physically. And so it definitely goes into the more inspirited realm. And to me, the real poem that's being said is when you rub two images together. So you take a sand dollar and you rub it together with a rusty high beam. Now, if I let the space go, the real poem that's going on right there is what's falling in between the words I just expressed. And especially if I give them finesse and give them oomph and give them a part of my feeling and my soulfulness, right? Then I'm basically putting out like a song. And the same thing that happens in music when lyrics are really provoking and they just hint around it. And then they use a lot of the tones, right, to open the heart and open the feelings. So you have a little bit of leeway to walk on the path inside yourself, right? And really enjoy the inside, the sound of silence, because, even going to a Simon and Garfunkel lyric where they say, a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. I think that's a part of our creature nature, our human nature inside of ourselves. And so I think the poet definitely brings, if you come through homesickness or lovesickness, you definitely open a whole new channel of what's going on there. So remember, it's not being a poet, it's just knowing when that poetic feeling comes forth and what to do with it. So thank you for watching the video today. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.